Hey everybody, this is Matt with mathsmath.com. Thanks for joining us here today as we talk about classifying triangles. There it is, classifying triangles. We're in the Math Common Core Standard of Geometry, and today we're going to be talking about mostly similarities of triangles and models as we look at angles and different types of triangles today. Okay? Alright, our guiding question is we're going to be classifying triangles by their attributes. Are you able to do that? Can you classify them by their attributes and find missing lengths? Well, here's your first trivia question. What state does this flag belong to? Any idea? The lovely old state of Alabama. Here it is. Notice all the triangles and angles that are in this shape. You see them? There are so many different angles in here. There's the triangle here, here, here. There's the triangle here that spans two triangles. There's one there. Angles here, there, there. Angles all over the place in this fun flag. Alright, so this is what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about classifying triangles. If you don't remember this, all the angles in a triangle must add up to 180 degrees. Okay? That's just standard. There's 3 angles and they must add up to 180 degrees. So let's start off first by classifying triangles by their angles. Right? There's 3 angles in any triangle. When something looks like this, it's acute. All of the angles are smaller than 90 degrees. Right? They're all smaller than 90 degrees. So it's called acute. And this one is a right triangle. It has one right angle of 90 degrees right here. Can it have more than one 90-degree angle? Well, if you said no, you're correct, because it's 90 plus 90, that'd be 180. You would not be able to connect the dots. You'd have one line going up there and another line going up there, and that would be an ugly triangle. Alright, and then this one, big old wide triangle, is called obtuse because there's one obtuse angle. Notice there's 2 acute angles over there, but one obtuse. And if there is one obtuse, it's called an obtuse triangle, not an acute triangle, because there's 2 other acute triangles, or angles there, okay? So it's an obtuse because one angle is obtuse, or over 90 degrees. Could you have a triangle with 2 obtuse angles in it? Well, by logic says that if we can't have one that has 2 right angles in it, we can't have one that has 2 obtuse angles in it, because it would be more than 180 degrees. Alright, we can also classify triangles by their sides. By their sides, the lengths of their sides compared to each other. Scalene is that all sides are not equal, and none of the angles are the same either. Okay, it's scalene. No angles are the same, no sides are the same. This one is called an isosceles, and at least 2 of the sides are the same length, and therefore 2 of the angles are the same. Notice that this side and this side are the same, so therefore the angle across from it is the same as the angle across from the other side. Those 2 are the 2 congruent angles, right here and right there. Does that make sense? The length of the side of the triangle dictates how big the angle is over there. Notice that this angle is bigger, so this side is bigger. This angle is smaller, so this side is smaller than the other guy down there. Okay, that's a trick. If you're trying to remember isosceles, it's got 2 S's there, and it's got at least 2 sides that are the same. Okay? Alright, and the other one is an equilateral triangle. Notice the word equal. It's not spelled equal, but it sounds like it. And all the lengths are the same, and all the angles are the same. If you think about it, all the angles are the same. They have to be the same. So if there's 180 degrees in a total triangle, how much would each of these angles be? Well, just take 180 divided by 3, bam, there you go, 60 degrees, okay? Each of those angles is 60 degrees. It's also called equiangular because the angles are equal. Can you say that if a triangle has all 3 angles of 60 degrees, it would be an equilateral triangle? Yeah, you can. If you think about it, remember, the angle here dictates how long the side is. So if this angle is the same as this angle and this one, the sides are going to be all the same, okay? Alright, so let's talk about different types of triangles, and let's actually see if we can classify them in as many ways as possible. Okay, so let's look at this one. We've got 60 degrees, 80 degrees, and 40 degrees. Bam, scalene and acute. That was really hard because the answer was right there. Okay, scaling, because all the angles are different. If all the angles are different, all the sides are going to be different. And it's acute because it's so small and cute, right? No, it's acute because all the angles are smaller than 90 degrees. Okay, look at this one. This one, we're going to classify it as equilateral because all the sides are the same. Notice we put these nice little funny slashes showing that each of those sides are equal. Notice that the answers are right here, so you can just read those. And also that the angles are 60, 60, and 60. All right, so it's equiangular. All right, do this one on your own. The answers are not actually there. You'll be able to do it on your own. All right, well, it has two angles that are the same. Two acute angles. Ooh, but it's got one obtuse angle. And it's got these funky slashes, which means those two sides are the same. So what is it? All right, it's obtuse and isosceles. Obtuse because there's one obtuse angle. Isosceles because there's at least two sides that are the same. All right, now, if we're going to find something that has an unknown angle, I want you to find the missing angles by just looking up and adding them up to 180 or subtracting them to see if you can figure out how to do it. So here's one. We've got this is 58, this is 78, this is x. Well, we know that they all have to equal 180. So if I add these two guys and subtract it from 180, bam, I get x. Whereas here, remember, all the sides are the same, all the x's are the same, so that we know that 3 x's have to add up to what? 180. So if I have 3 x's equal 180, I divide by 3, and I get x equals, fill in the blank. All right, and then here we go. Here's the last one. You've got 2 x's plus 110 equals 180. So our equation's looking a little bit longer. It would be 2x plus 110 equals 180. Going to have to do some algebra. Subtract 110, divide by 2, bam, that gives you x. Now this is what you should have gotten. Notice I didn't put a degree symbol next to each of these because the degree symbol was next to the x. This is actually what x equals. Okay, how you doing? All right, why don't you figure out if these angles can form a triangle? If not, change the first one so that it'll work. Well, how do you do that? Any idea? Well, if you said add them all up and see if they get to 180, then you're right. It might look funny because you're talking to a computer, but hey, you still got it right. So add these up to 180, and if they're 180, then bam, you're good to go. If they're not, change the first one. All right, here are your answers. First one was yes, they did add up to 180. Second one is they didn't. Make sure you check your addition. And you change that first one to 67. And same thing with the third, is they both no. Okay? Pretty simple lesson today, huh? I bet you can classify triangles by their attributes now. Naming triangles and figuring out missing angles. And talking about the lovely state of Alabama. That's it for classifying triangles. This was Matt with mathsmath.com. Thanks for joining us. Check us out on Facebook at Solving Maths Problems and on Twitter, Maths Math. And enjoy math.